Good morning, class. Today's topic is supramolecular chemistry. Supramolecular chemistry is the study of entities of greater complexity than that of the individual molecules. This term, supramolecular chemistry, was introduced in 1978 by a scientist named Jean-Marie Lehn. But this supramolecular chemistry was studied by various scientists with various different names, and three major scientists who worked in this field and actually given birth to this supramolecular chemistry branch were Charles J. Pedersen, Donald J. Cram, and Jean-Marie Lehn. These three altogether got a Nobel Prize in 1987 for their work. Charles J. Pedersen in 1967 observed that the crown ethers show molecular recognition. Crown ethers are this kind of cyclic ether entities, and they have a cavity in between. This cavity have a specific size, so it can accommodate a cation of that size only. These number of ether groups present in a crown ether can vary, and depending upon the number of oxygen atoms present, or you can say depending upon the size of the cavity created by these crown ethers, the cavity size varies, and hence the size of ion or size of the cation that can be accommodated in that cavity will vary. So Charles J. Pedersen recognized that some of crown ethers have this tendency to accommodate a cation of fixed size only, and he named this as molecular recognition. After that, Donald J. Cram, he established the theory of host-guest chemistry. It's the same theory that we study in case of enzymes. How enzymes work, or what is the mechanism of enzymes, that is basically explained based on the host-guest chemistry. It was established by Donald J. Cram. After that, Jean-Marie Lehn introduced the term supramolecular chemistry in 1978. What he defined supramolecular chemistry is chemistry beyond the molecules, or the chemistry of molecular assemblies using non-covalent bonds. When we study classical chemistry, the chemistry basically you have been studying till this time, there we deal with the molecules which are formed by combination of atoms, and atoms combine together through covalent bonds. But in case of supramolecular chemistry, smaller individual molecules combine together to form a supramolecule, and the combining or the association or the assembly of these smaller molecule to form a supramolecule is facilitated through non-covalent interaction, and these non-covalent interaction could be your hydrogen bonding, hydrophobic interaction, or covalent bonds. So when we talk about forces involved in the supramolecular chemistry, these are hydrogen bonding. These are type of intermolecular forces. They could be hydrogen bonding, your electrostatic interactions, ion dipole interaction, dipole-dipole interaction, van der Waals forces, metal coordination bonds, or pi interactions. All of these will come under the forces that are involved in the supramolecular chemistry. And if you are asked about the difference between the classical and supramolecular chemistry, that it can be then explained based on the types of bond. In the classical chemistry, bonds are stronger permanent covalent bonds, while in case of the supramolecular chemistry, the bonds responsible for the connectivity of different molecules are your non-permanent, non-covalent bonds. If we talk about some example of supramolecular chemistry, we'll first discuss the supramolecule that exists in the nature. And the easiest example is DNA molecule. We know that two strands of DNA are combined together or form a double helical structure with the aid of hydrogen bonds between the base pairs. And if we talk about DNA altogether, what it is made up of? It is made up of nitrogenous bases, your phosphate groups, and your sugar molecule. So all of these smaller molecules combine together to form DNA, and majorly pi-pi stacking and hydrogen bondings are involved. We know that hydrogen bonds are very weak and they can be easily broken, but a DNA molecule, due to the large number of hydrogen bonds, becomes a very stable, very large supramolecule. The two bonds are hydrogen bonding and pi-pi interactions, which are responsible for the double helical structure of DNA. If we look at the hydrogen bonding, adenine, thymine form 2 hydrogen bonds, while cytosine, guanine form 3 hydrogen bondings. And the thymine, adenine have a molecular recognition for each other. They only form hydrogen bondings with each other and not with cytosine or guanine. Similar concept is with guanine and cytosine. They form 3 hydrogen bonds between themselves, and guanine only form hydrogen bonding with cytosine, not with any of the other molecule, any of the other base. So and we know that hydrogen bond are weaker than that of the covalent bond, but due to the large number of hydrogen bondings, the DNA structure is quite stable. And if we talk about the properties, all the bases, sugar molecule and the phosphate group have their individual physical and chemical properties, but when they combine to form a DNA molecule, the DNA molecule have slightly different properties as that of the expected. Like DNA, we know that it is responsible for the transfer of gene, so that could not be predicted based on the smaller individual molecules that are combining together to form the DNA. So that way supramolecular chemistry works. There are many type of interactions that are involved in the supramolecular chemistry. These could be hydrogen bonding, metal coordination bonds, hydrophobic forces, van der Waals forces, pi-pi interaction, electrostatic effect. If we talk about ion-ion interaction or electrostatic interaction, what happens when two oppositely charged ions come together? They have an interaction. One will be cation, one will be anion. Due to the oppositely charged species, they will attract each other and form a bond. So such type of bond is called ion-ion interaction. For example, NaCl molecule. NaCl is present in crystal form, so it has a structure something like this, and one Na positive ion is surrounded by 6 Cl negative ion, and similarly 1 Cl negative ion is surrounded by 6 Na positive ions. And these ion-ion electrostatic interactions are not directional. These are non-directional bonds. So if this kind of interaction exists, it is called ion-ion interaction. If we have one of the ion and other one is dipole, so this is delta negative, delta positive, water molecule have dipole. So oxygen atom having partial negative charge forms a electrostatic interaction with sodium molecule. These kind of interactions are called ion dipole interaction. This interaction also exists in the crown ether. Crown ether is one of the example of supramolecular entity. So if this kind of crown ether is there, lithium positive ion can only come into the cavity, and this lithium positive ion and oxygen will have interactions which is ion dipole interaction. If we have two dipoles interacting in such a way, like this ketonic group, ketonic oxygen will have partial negative charge, ketonic carbon will have partial positive charge, and they will have interaction like this. So if such kind of interaction exists, it is dipole-dipole interaction. Next comes the pi-pi stacking. So if two benzene rings, if the electron cloud of two benzene rings interact with each other, this type of interaction is called face-to-face pi stacking. And if this kind of interaction between a hydrogen attached to a benzene and the electron cloud of one of the benzene ring exists, then it is called edge-to-face interaction. The next type of interaction are hydrophobic interactions. Hydrophobic interaction exists in the molecules which have hydrophobic pockets and a guest molecule which has a tendency to replace the solvent molecule and to take up the hydrophobic pocket will form these hydrophobic bonds. Now this guest itself is a hydrophobic molecule, and what happens, it replaces the water molecule to decrease the repulsion effect. Let's take a very simple example. This is some hydrophobic molecule. These two are hydrophobic molecule, and it is surrounded by solvent water molecule. So these two hydrophobic molecule will combine together to form a bigger hydrophobic molecule, and the number of solvent molecule surrounding them or number of water molecules surrounding them will decrease. Some of the water molecule will be removed. These water molecule will be removed. So this decreases the hydrophilic repulsion, and the two hydrophobic molecule combine together. So similar concept is here. If the molecule have some hydrophobic cavity, it could accommodate a hydrophobic guest molecule of appropriate size by replacing the solvent molecules. So this is hydrophobic effect. Next is hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding occur between a hydrogen atom and a electron pair present on a very electronegative atom. That electronegative atom could be nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine, fluorine. And the examples of hydrogen bonding we have already seen in case of DNA molecule. Then comes the dipole interaction. Some molecules exist in the form of dipole all the time. For example, HCl. Cl being an electronegative atom will have partial negative charge, hydrogen will have partial positive charge. So HCl will remain as a dipole always, and two HCl molecule will have dipole-dipole interaction between them. But there is also induced dipole interactions. Those are called London forces. If we have a neutral molecule like oxygen, in absence of any external force, these two oxygen atom will share the bonded electron equally. So they will not have any kind of charge over them. But as soon as you bring a dipolar molecule closer to the oxygen atom, these oxygen atoms will have rearrangement of the electron cloud. The atom which will be closer to the negatively charged dipole will induce a positive charge, slightly partial positive charge, while the further atom will have partial negative charge. So this kind of induced charge on a neutral molecule due to the interaction with other dipole is called induced dipole, and these forces are called London forces. Next is pi stacking. So these pi stacking are also present in DNA and RNA molecule, where nitrogenous bases and sugar molecule and phosphorus combine together to form a complex DNA RNA molecule. So nucleobase stack together to form a chain, and the kind of interactions possible are three types: sandwich, T-shaped, parallel, displaced. So this we have already seen in the form of face to face. This is face to edge kind of pi stacking, and this is slightly displaced face to face interaction. So when the two rings are not completely overlapping each other but are slightly displaced, those are called parallelly displaced pi stacking. So those were the forces involved in the supramolecular chemistry. Now if we have to classify the supramolecular chemistry, we can majorly classify the supramolecules in three categories. One is where the molecules are built to a specific size or shape. So rotatanes, catenane, and dendrimers, fullerene, antiaces, all these come into this category. We have to study dendrimers in slight details that we will be doing in the next class. So there you will understand what the building of molecules to specific shapes means. Next is molecular recognition chemistry. So this we have already seen, like how cytosine forms hydrogen bonding with guanine only and adenine with thymine, and similar kind of recognition, molecular recognition, is also seen in various other enzymes present in the human body or anywhere else. Enzymes are basically based on the concept of molecular recognition chemistry, and many enzymes comes into the category of supramolecules also. So the chemistry associated with molecular recognition of a partner molecule, or the concept is also called lock and key or host and guest chemistry. This kind of concept we see in crown ethers, polyamines, cyclodextrins, and calizarines. So cyclodextrins also we have to study in detail. Next is chemistry of molecular assembly from numerous molecules. So this we have been introduced to this concept in micelles. Smaller molecules combine to form micelles or lipids also. Amphiphilic molecules form these kind of structures, micelles and lipids. So supramolecular chemistry is combination of all these three things. That is molecular recognition chemistry or host guest chemistry, plus chemistry of molecular assemblies and chemistry of molecular association. These three in combination is called supramolecular chemistry.